Yahweh, impartuanalen, welcome ngan choin mtijanayadan Marshallese TV. And we're very fortunate today because with us we have Senator, one of the senators from the island of Rongelap. He's with us today, Senator Kenneth Kedi. So we would like to welcome him to the show. Carlnes Albatar will be co-hosting the show with me. Nga Anita Iban, Kumaronit Pokonamrom. We're going to just sit here and visit and talk about an event that's coming up this weekend in Little Rock. And it's commemorating the it's called Nuclear Victims Day at 2014. So their theme is to educate, to reflect, honor, and educate what took place about 60 years ago. This is their 60th anniversary. So I'm going to give this time to Senator Kedi to share with us. I know a lot of the students in the school have lots of questions as to what is that all about, what happened. So we figured this will be a good time to bring him in and have him talk about it to educate them in what they're lacking about the nuclear testing that was done in the Marshall Islands. Okay?
Thank you, Gomoldada Anita, Yahweh, and hello to everyone. And also, good to see both of you. Nuclear Survivors Remembrance Day is a holiday in the Marshall Islands, and we are here, and I'm here, and a few of us that came from the Marshall Islands to come and commemorate that event. That took place in March 1st, 1954 in the Marshall Islands, where the Provo shot the biggest U.S. hydrogen bomb that ever conducted was done in the Marshall Islands, Bikini Atoll in the Marshall Islands. The history, and I'll give you a brief history of the testing in the Marshall Islands. From 1946 to 1958, U.S. government tested 67 nuclear bombs in the Marshall Islands. And the biggest one is the one we're commemorating on March 1st, which will take place in Little Rock, Arkansas, President Clinton Library. This is a 15 megaton bomb that was exploded. As I alluded to earlier, it's the biggest bomb that ever tested by the government of the United States. The total yield of the bombs that were tested in the Marshall Islands was 108 megatons. So comparatively speaking, the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bomb combined, the bombs in the Marshall Islands are about 7,000 times more and greater than what was conducted in the Marshall Islands. And also comparatively speaking to Nevada test site, just the Bravo shot itself, which was 15 megaton, the downwinder program, the tests that were done in the Nevada test site, Yucca Mountain, they're 43 times less than just the Bravo shot itself. So that's an overview and brief on the history of the bomb. This was, of course, during the Cold War between the United States and then the former USSR, where the arms race for the superpower was in full swing. And when the bomb was exploded in the Marshall Islands March 1st in Bikini Atoll, that message was clear to our competitor, our other nation, that the United States had the greatest capability in terms of superpower with nuclear arms. So that basically ended the Cold War. And unfortunately, as a result of the Cold War, the people of the Marshall Islands have lost their lands and cannot return to their islands and are living with all different kinds of radiogenic diseases, cancer, leukemia, thyroid diseases, and you name it. Our leading cause of death in the Marshall Islands, aside from the diabetes, the second leading cause is cancer, a radiogenic disease type cancer. So that's just brief history, and I can later on go into the Compact of Free Association, the treatment that the treaty that the United States government and the RMI government has signed in 1986. But that's a brief history, Anita.
Okay, thank you, Kenneth. And Senator, I'm sure the students and the other Marshallese that are watching the show now have a clue of what took place or what happened. In times, sometimes the students ask when this time around comes and we have an event set up and we commemorate this event, they always ask, so what happened? And we try to teach them what happened, but I'm really so fortunate for us on the show to have you come and explain. It's not just Marshallese that are watching the show, but the other nationalities. Brief history of our community. If you can go ahead and anything that's on your mind, if you want to share a little bit about really what the aim is. I know there is a group that just started an organization that's called MA, which is Marshallese Educational Initiatives.
Yes.
And they were the one that wanted to bring this to a national level, to take whatever we are to share this weekend and take it down to Little Rock. So we're very fortunate to have them organize this event. If the senator has more that he wants to share, I will give this time to him also. If any information, since he's here a long way, thousands of miles from the Marshall Islands, we figured why not get him on the show and have him share about the event that's going on this weekend. So.
Yes, MEI, Anita, thank you again. MEI is the nonprofit organization here. It's one of the NGOs here established to assist the Marshallese people in the Arkansas area. They have invited me to come and deliver the keynote address during that commemoration event in Little Rock, Arkansas. Looking forward to that. I hope people will tune in also for that. I will be making a longer statement during that time on behalf of the people that were heavily exposed to the radiation in the Marshall Islands. But I'd just like to make a brief note on these last 2 minutes that we have. Marshall Islands' relationship with the United States government is a unique and a special one, where we have signed into a compact, what we call the Compact of Free Association in 1986. It's a treaty that has established this mutual and unique relationship in which we give the United States the full authority on our airspace indefinitely. We've given that denial right to them. And even today, there's a base in Kwajalein Atoll, one of our big atoll in the Marshall Islands. It's called the Ronald Reagan Anti-Ballistic Missile Defense, where it's there to protect the citizen of the United States in any event when, if there's any nuclear war in the future, especially coming from North Korea or other places, then Marshall Island, Kwajalein Atoll, will be the one to first shoot the defense on behalf of the United States government and the citizen of the United States. So Marshallese people actually, listening to the brief history that I'm able to give you at this very short time, they have sacrificed a lot for the good of all mankind and for peace and security of the United States citizen and the United States itself. And so what we're asking as Marshallese, as for the United States then government, to fully address our needs, especially our health concerns, and fully compensate the damages that were done by the nuclear testing program in the Marshall Islands. So it's a mutual relationship, and it's a unique one. So we hope that whoever is listening and are able to learn what this unique relationship is about. And we continue with that, and we honor this relationship, and we look forward to support the United States even in the international world, seen especially in UN like we have. But the Marshallese population committee, they are now asking if then the United States government can at least listen to some of our concerns as a result of the radiation testing.
Thank you, Senator. And we have a few minutes left on our first segment, so don't go away. We'll be right back, and we'll continue with our conversation with our Senator this morning. So, pero chane jam magdugud, chane barol tok ngan segmen okain karuo. Okay.
Mama babaro all of them kanana bene cholo choren in walong and ayuri roni yuri lo chugo lo yenego rejirin gi ye we wa we nair marong te barge unio in pe ren marong te barge lo yen ro de gain elanga ye mujama magut ngan bar jonium ya bar oram nam pakken ak elanga ye bar or melele go ru ta gen melele go lo registration card e ye nam kamman go da kia krudok chugo lo yeno magatada wa we nin e jangan ka jabaro ga ina mano ana ayuri roni yir ken ke kum kanan ko ena man sabaro ngan ayuri.
Thank you once again. We're back to the second episode of Marshallese TV, and we're going to continue our conversation with our Senator Kedi from Rongelap Atoll. And ine lewa jinin bokon wan malakotom par pokona mum cheri lo riago me you ko jeng jage re ngana where kaman bar mi ren where kan ta war puk chigenem uta karo ko igda na merga gap kiene war
Bol kumbola barjonale nanita. I've shared in the first segment the brief history of the nuclear test in the Marshall Islands, but perhaps I need to share what is happening on ground back in the Marshall Islands in terms of the nuclear testing in the Marshall, the nuclear legacy. We have survivors that are continue to struggle with their health, and rojiburim juma jiburim juma mioj jinemim jeme mioj parainot burejo raj parainot choren rajambaron chogoye. What I like to share, I suppose, on a personal note, is that the issues are more than just an historical event that we recall and then continue to speak about. As I stated earlier, the second highest cause of death in the Marshall Islands is cancer, and we know that is as a result of the radiation testing. So if I had a message for the students who are listening and any Marshallese that are interested, especially our student, I would strongly encourage as a leader and your leader in the parliament to pursue your education, to go to college, universities, and study as much as you can, especially in the area of health physics, microbiology, chemistry, in areas that you can come back home and do your own study and tell us and let us know what is really happening in the Marshall Islands. We've always been listening to people coming from outside and interpret the data and the radiation data, and a lot of them and many times have been interpreted wrong. So we need you students to go study hard, and come back and assist our people back home, and to assist us on how to clean our islands so we can return back to our island.
Thank you, Senator. I know a lot of students will be listening because we've told them and they're all aware. In fact, there's going to be a busload of students, Marshallese student, going to the event tomorrow to Little Rock, and I'm going to be riding along with them along with two others from the district. So I know going to that event will be quite an experience for them, and for you to have to share with them how important it is for them to pursue and further their education. It really is a plus for them too, because that's what we try to encourage them, is to go to college, not just stop after high school, go beyond that. Rajang mama papa ro rajalo je show in boy. Chani yang nganian je rajang ajiri rain nejir boy ren pejara godilo high school. Chani high school ron maladam kamajar chukulum. Eno dami yang rong jaga jen senatorin are yang cuan chan rong la me very perilous show in melbar lungun mana mudai purwer. Boy marongin matan ke reina real bana mananin rajang kainan. Emit tamake all rome rajalo chinin ceman rujuguro. Rene take it seriously. Label lugung la manakagam katir. Pajan chejelogo kia elang rujugul. 1 mile lagot chen college. I mean chen high school, in major high school are 1 mile lagot. Emelang kain men go meche jatan offering an air kia lo chino jan career la char fundraising and scholarship peren marong atan chen barchi bang rilo 1 mile odom career la air chugo. Elabar monana boy Melelegain Senator marong cherry perilo elegan relevant raini nene chibang echap chinenim chemeno rujugu reina parainot ap kejoj kajojom rujugu reina laptada. Ini berkatalagi ini dengan senatorin nge barwar cabarot meleleo ya kanan cherry cejalagai elabar lugune elo eta mana kanege kiye chebageleng da event inchen at celebrate dim kagai mi jodilo Springdale in podongan more of a national level yang injej polangan dia raga me japan remaja lot elang rebelle rorar barin pai dito rein me right perilo ba state of Arkansas leader reinan mai dinai karolagi ni ngan Senator Kedi nge bar warcha barot meneo kanan chere
amman ilo chetri iyo gore modalak jangan lamana ba at this time, I'd like to speak directly to our Marshallese families, especially the parents of the students. Ilo chitra jagan lamana baklai rally dak egarigan pay. Jadi yo tawailik chejalamanak em chedangan rain rajamanak pay klai chongro rain ne eboy. That is not enough. Ejai gu pajen walang lago yanchin. Elang jet bayan rema mujinam kala chongro kona tanem charwal kiya. That's a short-term vision. John menome egaru chadanga. Jai gu ila lagari rema lago jinjinam kalam jaglak ta wo choy man. Elang ajij kana bon wor wotaklo chugujugun pero warakap. Ajij kana bon emman lak chukun me urungan arum jero matarijo. Jai gu kadala wor jugu rene jiron tanem kale. Kada ole biru ya gamero jai gu jakara. Egabro muy boy ban lang riling rej pello majalam kamani cerwala o mena ran rujugu re neji ga par majal ak kan ga lang jediar re do per jegenem rebjim chep chepala ay lang jediar ma bo chong ruwe boy no that's not enough ko jay gu wal lang lok karir lang chugur em chepala ga do ngai long ko em chibang aram ji nai long ko boy ay long ko argan je paran chone chep an rewli pin cheban rejena cheban review jaban rugilbot em jadi mana bor ko ba ko per these are all online em kajin jene ko mana bor na malok em yalla bi joko nan chenenum jemen ajri an yuni ajri ro paran tabar jor jay tabar em jeb kala chongoro ayen kala.
Thank you, Senator. And I want to briefly share what he was talking about. He was talking to the parents. I know at one time we thought graduating from 8th grade was good enough. But then later on, you know, we thought, well, 12th grade was good enough. And a lot of times these students that graduate from 12th grade go ahead and find a job somewhere. But he just wants to tell us, the students that are graduating, to think about the positions back home that are open and they're being held. The positions are held by non-Marshallese. But, you know, we have all these issues that we can tackle, and only Marshallese, you know, we feel will understand and will be able to help themselves. So once you graduate from high school or from college, start thinking about going back and help our government and work for the Marshallese back home. And you know that you would be the only ones. Rijugu rana merikaro jalojan majal chenche gaini me ramman chugul gaini rolim chibang ailong ko areno tan Senator Inpa. Emelvan man melele gain agar sharing kalne jangan berka ko babadok
Uno mana roja kai.
Mana roja ko coba kalne roja ko.
Coba itu kan aman melele ko pe. Olive melele ko jaga matan menu ko me kerja yang. Olive ci recommend ngan cinirum cemerum. Ngai pun tamagum kaya triri berledi roja ka ta jane tari coba.
Ela bala jana lukun kamolo leboy Senatorine maron perjinim pokonani lo show yinim jana Marshallese TV.
In a short notice.
Right. Komol ela ba kanan pagyinim really galakam kamolo gan tayo egar pagchigini lo palenchap melele go anro malak at kanan anirerum kalaka rispage talago arilo terego ilo archala boy rochuan maru ar periper boy minodem jijret perilu biren peni rojilo karakoan rainin change marong educate ajri rain nejir parents kachim bring awareness kan tayo ar pagchigen chijinongolia no talang Alabama mol Senator Kenneth marong karkoba do gijini pemro kalnes tamaka po roro jalo je rene mana pagmelele gain Cici tong ngancam lagu ni ya ikanan leo jar nani ni aku yang ngana oleh roro jalo je join parcuan alen cara mana ngana oleh roro ne pokona iri lo weekend ilo lera okay